Hello, 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 boys and girls of the world. This is your girl Megan from the HoodAstroQ, and today I am here to discuss what the fuck is going on with Miss Wendy Williams. Okay, so as you guys saw in my most recent community tab post on here, in addition to the headlines, if you've been paying attention, Wendy Williams has been under a lot of I guess, speculation lately. A lot of people have been speculating in regards to what's been going on with her. Because you do have a lot of reports that are saying that she took a hiatus from her show, due to health reasons. Now, it's no surprise that she's been dealing with grave disease. That's something she's been very vocal and open about for some time now. And actually, last year, she took a hiatus from work due to that. Now, we're also not going to ignore the fact that around that time, her ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, was said to have had a baby with his longtime side chick. Like, the side chick gave birth. So something that I'm coming to find is that these flare-ups of grave disease, because although I don't think she's lying about the grave disease, we'll get into that when we get into the transit reading. But I think that these flare-ups could definitely have a lot to do with what's going on in her personal life and emotional life. Right. So obviously she's not going to be as open and forthcoming with us about the inside emotional issues. But yeah, so now fast forward to, I believe, May 18th, her staff and a lot of other people are saying that she decided to step away once again due to grave disease. However, Tasha K, the blogger, who actually did a pretty good job covering the last time she went on hiatus and when Kev Hunter had the baby. So kudos to her. Shouts out to her. She actually came out and said that she, meaning like Tasha, had been in contact with Kev Hunter, Big Kev, and that he, in addition to a lot of other sources, very close sources, have revealed that Wendy is actually at a mental hospital or a facility right now, after exuding a lot of strange and erratic behavior, pacing the floor, refusing to eat, talking to herself, these type of things. A lot of people have been saying that her emotional and mental health has been in a rapid decline ever since Big Hunter, Kev Hunter, had that baby. Which, I mean, astrology aside, y'all, I actually understand it. I completely, okay, I understand. So I actually feel bad for her there. However, that's the word on the curb, and people are also saying that her relationship with little Kev is under some strain right now, and that he's not talking to her, and that could also have a lot to do with her cognitive and emotional decline. So they're saying that she's completely losing it, mental, emotional breakdown, and I really do feel bad for her. I feel so bad for her, and I know, contrary to what a lot of other people like to believe, because Wendy does have this reputation, let everyone else tell it, for being in people's business and doing this and doing that, and she's the queen of tea, queen of gossip, queen of hot topics, and they feel like she should have to discuss her life, her personal life, with such transparency. But honestly, based on a lot of the components of her chart, I feel like she has the right to be a lot more guarded and protective about these affairs in this lifetime. And I don't think these are things she should be exploiting to help bolster her career. So let's just hop right on into the tea. Now, this transit, I went ahead and did it for the transit date is actually today, because a lot of the issues that Wendy is going through, they're very heavy, energetically speaking, issues within the cosmos, and a lot of things between May 18th and now aren't changing about that. Now, Wendy Williams is currently experiencing her nodal return, which is when the transiting nodes find their way back to the place that they were in literally the moment you were born. So they realign themselves with your natal lunar nodal positions. And these are incredibly karmic experiences, especially with her being a Capricorn South Node. These are experiences that kind of like propel you towards your destiny. These are karmic checkpoints, if you will. Now, for Wendy, with her being a Cancer North Node, and if you guys remember, the lunar nodes switched into Gemini. So we do have our North Node at the 29th degree of Gemini, South Node at the 29th degree of Sagittarius currently. And it's forming a perfect alignment. I mean, it's 1 degree off. It's a super tight conjunction to her Cancer North Node at the 0 degree that Gemini North Node is. And for her, you know, this is forcing her to release a lot of her career ambitions. And side note, for a lot of Capricorn South nodes, these are people who live a lot of their lives either married to their careers. These are people who are centered in a lot of worldly achievements and ambitions. Not really super domesticated people, especially as like women are concerned, right? They're prone to having issues with their children, prone to having all types of issues. And this is essentially why she is such a mogul in her career, right? Such a powerhouse in the radio and television industry, but her home life is a hot fucking mess. That's that Cancer North Node. In this lifetime, she has to kind of not necessarily turn away from her career, but the trajectory of her life is going to have to shift from things that are super like maybe things that she once found validation in, like I said, the accolations and being the queen of talk TV and radio and this and that, and shifting it and reprioritizing what she values and where her passions lie in this lifetime, especially with her North Node, that Cancer North Node in her 5th house. This deals with her being somebody where she's going to have to live a lot more like a meaningful life and pay a lot more attention to her domestic affairs and internal issues. And I would even argue emotions. A lot of Capricorn South nodes, especially in her 11th house, do not do well with emotions. These are people who come from many past lives of being kind of emotionally closed off, unavailable. They don't know how to deal with it. So in this lifetime, they're going to go through some very difficult and heartbreaking experiences, particularly by way of romance, their relationships with men, and their relationships with children, once again, especially with this 5th house influence, that are going to force them to kind of have to pay more attention to these things and become more softer people and a lot more emotionally intelligent, and to learn how to handle these intense waves of emotions and be more tender to themselves and the people around them and all that good stuff. Now with once again transiting North Node at the 29th degree of Gemini conjunct her, that Cancer North Node at the 0 degree of Cancer, this unlocks, like I said, that karmic checkpoint, and it creates a situation to where, and this is true for all nodal returns. If you're not doing the work to activate that North Node, by the time you approach this checkpoint, it's going to drag you kicking and screaming, whether you like it or fucking not. So in Wendy's case, you can even look at this 20, because that 29th degree is what? The anoretic degree. It's the crisis degree. That deals with extremes in and of itself. It can even deal with issues, head issues, right? Issues with the brain. And it deals with where, okay, well, you're not stepping away from your career ambitions and these, you're not taking off your workload, or you're not shifting enough for me. So we're going to kind of force you to have to do this, even if it has to deal with your mental health. Okay, with that Gemini influence. So right there, that even validates Tasha K's claims. It validates Tasha K's claims. The Gemini element also deals, you can even look at that as like her talk show. But once again, at the 29th degree, it's going to create like a violent disruption to that, right? And with the conjunct that Cancer North Node, it's going to kind of force her to a fork in the road where you have to pick one, sis. Not necessarily between your family and career, but I mean, what is it going to be in terms of like, are you going to continue running yourself ragged? Are you going to continue to seek out these things that are not supposed to be what you're going to take with you, like what you're supposed to take with you in this lifetime, you know. And for a lot of Capricorn South Nodes, I do also find that they walk around life as they get older, they can feel a lot more, I guess you could say, unfulfilled with the things that they used to once find so much satisfaction and security in. And once again, if you're not honoring that, then, you know, life comes along and it's gonna force you to. And I think that Wendy, based on this placement, for a long time, she could have been questioning whether this is really what she wanted to do anymore, as far as her talk show and the way things are now, right? But now, another observation that I made was the fact that transiting Pluto, which is at the 24th degree of Capricorn, which, by the way, is transiting Wendy's 11th house, is opposing her sun at the 26th degree of Cancer. So this reinforces issues with her career, right? Where there is absolutely some sort of tension there, right? And this could also be the transit that kind of kicks off that emotional breakdown in a lot of respects. However, this could also directly validate those claims that she and her son are not on good terms, as this could even deal with one of the two. And I'm thinking maybe more so Kev, giving her the possible silent treatment. You know, I think this could also even deal with one or two, you know, or both of them being very prideful in regards to a dispute. I also get the vibe that he's trying to liberate himself from her in a lot of ways. He could also be the type to try to test her, or just be straight up mean to her, exploit her in a lot of ways, which is very eerily similar to the way that his father did, which, not for nothing, with her being a Cancer sun and then that 5th house element, can create a lot of overlapping similarities and mirroring qualities that her son, little Kev, has in regards to his father. Everything all the way down to the name. This could also, once again, point towards the standoff in her career, emotional breakdown that propels her to do something more fulfilling with her life. Or it could possibly, this could have possibly activated the larger transit that she's experiencing now, which is transiting Neptune and Mars conjunct her Chiron in her 1st house of Pisces, y'all. That right there definitely is going to spell out some major trouble in regards to mental health, physical health, once again. And this is why I do think that her physical health and emotional mental health could kind of run concurrent with one another. And then also, as somebody who does have an autoimmune deficiency myself, as well as a mental health disease or disorder, I know a lot of times one can set off the other and vice versa. Okay, so it's very important to kind of understand that. And that's just astrology aside, but nonetheless, this larger transit, you know, with the right activators, could bring about the desire for her to start drugs again. That could also be another possibility. It could deal with her self-medicated in a variety of ways. And it reinforces this theme of institutionalization, be it the hospital, you know, the traditional, standard, general hospital, or very much the psychiatric ward. Absolutely. Now, with that transiting Neptune squaring her natal Mars, this could even deal with her checking in under that fate name that they were saying. So a lot of this is actually checking out. Transiting Moon is also opposing her natal Sun, once again, dealing with that emotional imbalance, triggering a type of emotional meltdown, personality disorder. Transiting Mars and Neptune are also squaring her midheaven at the 15th degree of Sagittarius, which something else that was very interesting that took place. This past Friday's full moon eclipse was literally conjunct her her midheaven, actually, hold on, I think her midheaven is at the 20th degree. Her midheaven is at the 20th degree of Sag. It is. But nonetheless, it would still make a conjunction to that eclipse, which if you guys go back to my video that I did, I was saying that really for the most part, this full moon eclipse in Sagittarius wouldn't really impact most people unless it touched a main luminary or the ascendant or your midheaven. And for Wendy, I do think a lot of this could have something to do with her having a need to accept a truth, whether it be something in regards to her health or evaluating, once again, her lot in life, her career. Okay, this could also even deal with her freedom severely being compromised and bringing these issues, these health issues and mental issues to the forefront that can no longer be ignored. This eclipse kind of propelled that. So just imagine if they thought it was bad back in on May 18th. I'm pretty sure Wendy is really going through it right now. Now, transit in Neptune is squaring her Venus and Mars in Gemini in her 4th house, alongside that transit in North Node at the 29th degree of Gemini. And this deals with, and it reinforces these mental issues, like mental health problems. It deals with her being forced to take a vacation, quote unquote, from her talk show. Her having a disassociative type of state of mind where she's like out of body experience. This could even deal with her literally talking to herself. So all of these claims so far have been validated. And then we have transiting Venus, retrograde, mind you, squaring her Uranus in her at the 7th degree, and Pluto at the 15th degree of Virgo in her 6th house, reinforcing yet again these health issues that could be both mental and physical in nature, as Uranus and Pluto and Virgo can produce autoimmune disorders as well. This could deal with these issues coming on suddenly. That's also reinforced with that 7th degree of Virgo, with her Uranus at the 7th degree of Virgo. She could also have problems with her circulatory system. This also deals with her refusing not to eat. She probably has had like a complete disrupt to her, everyday kind of biorhythms. I wouldn't be surprised if she stopped showering, if she stopped doing this, stopped combing her hair, whatever. This could even deal with her staff, where there is a huge, like the communication between her staff has completely descended into chaos. People not communicating with one another well, everybody scrambling and leaking her business. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Hunter was a part of that. You know what I mean? So it's just overall really, really, really sad. It's really sad. And as I stated before, I don't think that this means, therefore, she's suffering from Graves' disease. I see in her chart that she absolutely can have some physical ailments, and she could be experiencing some physical ailments during this time, but I would not be surprised if it was brought on by her emotional issues. So I hope, shout out y'all, shout out to Auntie Wendy. We hope she survives this nodal return, because I understand it's not easy. And really briefly, I wanted to hop into Little Kev's chart. I didn't want to be too extensive with it, but just to kind of reinforce these issues in terms of their relationship. Because I think she's even hopped on the show one day and cried about her relationship with Little Kev. Like, he doesn't like me. And once again, that comes with her being a Cancer North Node. Especially in the 5th house, which represents children. A lot of these people can have a difficult time with motherhood, raising their children, parenting, all types of issues. So I just kind of I just saw some interesting things, because Kev was born August 17, 2000 in New Jersey as well. And he's actually a Pisces. He's a Leo sun, but he's a Pisces moon. And that Pisces moon, I said, and I actually did this in my last live stream, it's one of the most difficult and challenging moon placements for a person to have, because it can go really, really well, or really, really bad. So on one hand, these are people, depending on the way that the moon is aspected, who can view their mothers as saviors. They can have a soft and tender relationship with their mother where they feel supported and insulated and, you know, protected. And these can be people who are spoiled and whatever. But on another hand, and maybe even at the same time, because I do kind of get the vibe that Wendy spoiled him, but at the same time, these people can have mothers that were extremely negligent. And once again, with her being a Capricorn South Node, I would suspect the negligence came in on an emotional level, right? You know, because she was so attached to her career and blase squaze. And then his moon is actually squaring his Pluto at the 10th degree of Sagittarius retrograde. And that right there further reiterates this theme of him and this existential issue that he has with Wendy. And I think that a lot of this could deal with where maybe he even feels like he's a burden to his mother, or he can view his mother as a burden, where he feels like he kind of wishes he was never born, or he feels like she wishes he was never born. So, you know, that, and also I kind of get too, there's a feeling of entrapment that is there as it pertains to Kevin and Lil Kev and Wendy. I think she places a lot of her emotions on him as well. And multiple truths can coexist at once. But this is another truth that I feel like could also apply, particularly as he's become older and then she's divorced from his father, where she kind of places a lot of her emotions on him. Right. And in her attempt to kind of struggle to kind of deal and handle her emotions, she kind of, you know, places certain things on him. And he's like, look, I got to get the fuck away, especially with her being a Cancer North Node. It's also not uncommon for these to be helicopter moms who worry a lot. And we already know the history behind that, right? Another manifestation of that Cancer North Node is issues with conceiving children. Wendy had like about 50,000 miscarriages, literally, and had a high-risk pregnancy with Kev, little Kev. So, you know, he is her baby. The significance that he has on her life, she you could tell she really loves him, but I think that could also cause some issues there. And that could also even support not only her drug issues, but his drug issues as well. And I think there's a lot of I think those things were you know, passed down, like hereditary. And that does support what a lot of people, a lot of, you know, counselors and psychologists and whatever therapists say, that a lot of these issues, be it drug, like addiction, straight up addiction, mental illness, these things can be passed down. Because I do see little Kev suffering from some of these issues on the low. Also, interestingly enough, her son is conjunct his North Node. He's a Cancer North Node as well, just like his mom. And I think that in the same way that she has a lesson to learn about dealing with her emotions, he does as well. And this could definitely be another reason where they clash and why they clash so hard, you know? So, you know, I thought that was very, very interesting. And both of them are Capricorn South Nodes. So that theme of punishing each other and probably, like I said, giving each other the silent treatment, not talking to one another, could definitely be very prevalent. So that concludes this reading. I just wanted to, like I said, I didn't want to get too deep into his chart, but I did want to touch on it because I just thought it was so telling, and it could provide a little bit more clarity to their relationship. So you guys drop down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. Do you think she's lying about the Graves' disease or what? And make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love each other. And until the next video, I'll holla.
Thank you for seeing.